Every great story starts with fire. Kia ora and welcome to Low and Slow Aotearoa, the podcast where fire meets flavour, stories rise with the smoke, and we celebrate the slow, smoky side of New Zealand life. I'm Ruben. Grab a seat by the pit. You're in good company here. We hear paddock-to-plate a lot, or farm-to-table, but what does it actually mean? It's more than just like a buzzword to hype up your sales or to get people to buy your product. It actually means something. So for low and slow cooks, it actually does matter. So for me personally, farm-to-table means quality. It means freshness. And for low and slow cooks like ourselves, we play a big part in using all these cuts of meat that aren't really used. So you can make sausages and steaks and all that kind of stuff like that most consumers will buy pretty quick. But we use those cuts of meat that aren't really that popular. So we play a big part in using other cuts of meat that aren't used as commonly as others. What does paddock to plate really mean? It's knowing where your meat comes from. So if I get some meat, I know that it's come from a farm, down in Karaka or down the road or something like that. I know that it's come from there. I've driven past that farm. I've seen it. It's lush, it's green, it's wide open. The animal, the land, the process. It's about knowing everything about where it comes from. New Zealand is extremely lucky. Like, farming culture is close. Where I live, you could probably go about 3 or 4 suburbs away from me, and there's a whole farming community right there. So it's not just about local, it's about traceable. I know where it comes from exactly. So knowing where the animal lived, what it ate, like if it was grass-fed or grain-fed, how it was processed. I'm not saying like the big chains like Gilmore's or Pack and Save or anything like that is bad. And I'm not saying don't get anything from there, because I have. I've gotten cuts of meat from there. Not a problem. But just care a little bit. I'm not trying to be preachy. I'm not trying to say if you're only getting it from Pack and Save, that's wrong. Nah. Just take a little bit of care. That's all. So maybe time to time, have a look around. Do a bit of research. Try locally sourcing your meat. It supports local businesses and people. Unfortunately, my favourite butcher, Drury Meats, they've closed down. That's a big shame. They had some really good quality briskets, good quality everything. Yeah, you are going to pay a bit more than you will at Pick and Save. That's a given. That's why I'm saying, like, you don't have to go there all the time and do your meat shopping there. But from time to time, for Christmas when I did it, I got my briskets from there. Because I wanted to have quality, really give my family something special. There's probably a few businesses or few farms that do this, but here in Auckland, there's a place called Taylor Road Meats. They're based out in Karaka. They're a prime example of this whole thing. You order online, they deliver it to you. It's simple, it's easy, and the communication, because you're talking directly to the farmer's partner, basically. So you can ask them questions. They want to give you the best product. They want to give you the best experiences. They'll ask you where you want it delivered, exactly what time, because they're delivering cold meat. So you want it when you're home, obviously, or they put cooler packs in there. They take care of you. And once that's complete, they flick you a text and say, yep, I've left it at the front door, under the shelter, where you asked me to. Done. It's family owned and operated, and the money goes directly to them. There's no middleman. There's no bad communication between the delivery driver and the person dealing with the online orders and the butcher. It's all one unit. It's just a family. And that's what's great about it as well. Keeps it in the family. Plus, the benefits of grass-fed beef, it's way better for you. It's better for your heart. It's got lots of omega-3 fatty acids, richer in vitamins like A and E and other kind of stuff like that. I'm not a pharmacist, I don't know all this technical stuff. I just know basically that grass-fed's better for you because the cows are meant to eat grass. Cows are not made to eat grains, but they can from time to time. They have to, obviously. I'm not a farmer either. It's also a better flavour. It's a lot leaner with a cleaner, earthier taste that really reflects the natural diet of the animal. It's been proven that grass-fed is a lot better for you. It tastes a lot better. Many pit masters, butchers, chefs, farmers, everyone that deals with meat describes grass-fed beef as having more flavour that represents its environment. Welfare of the animal is also a lot better, so they're out in paddocks, open paddocks, eating natural diets, and generally healthier, and they're less stressed out. You can drive anywhere around New Zealand, and eventually you'll come past a farm, you'll just see some cows just chilling, eating away at grass, and then do their thing. The good thing about having something so local is that it's fresher. Your meat travels a lot less. So instead of travelling 100 kilometres from the South Island up to the North Island, if you get it locally, it goes from 5 suburbs away and comes straight to your door. It needs less preservatives and extended cold storage, so it's far fresher. So you'll be able to taste that as well, rather than something that's been sitting in a fridge. Plus, it's a lot more sustainable. I didn't actually think about this until I did more research on this topic. It makes sense. If you get locally, you lower your carbon footprint to a degree, because there's reduced shipping and transport. And many local farmers follow more environmentally friendly practices like free range and more space. So there is actually a lot of benefits if you really think about it, from getting something at the store to going down the road and getting your meat. You'd be surprised. Like I was saying before, low and slow cooks are a huge part of this, and we use those tough cuts of meat like brisket, chuck, ribs, lamb shoulder, and it's really good to smoke with because you have to cook the stuff low and slow. And a mate of mine actually told me, do you know brisket used to be used for dog food? Isn't that crazy? Something that we now are chasing to get perfect and taking our time to cook used to be fed to the dogs and other tough cuts of meat like that. Isn't that crazy? How times change? Essentially, you can use the whole beast or the whole animal for low and slow. There's not a single part of a pig, a cow, a chicken that you couldn't do on your smoker and it wouldn't be good. As long as you get the right cuts and the right temp and all that kind of stuff. You prepare, you take your time, you're not rushing, respecting the meat, you're respecting the animal, and let it nourish you and feed you. This is sounding a bit preachy, but that's not what I'm trying to get past here. It's just a little something that kind of runs through my mind sometimes. And this style suits paddock-to-plate naturally as well. And it's always good to think about what you want to do, how you're going to do it, and making the most of the meat that you have. So do you want a certain colour on the meat? Do you want a lot of fat, a little bit of fat? These are all things to think about before you start, so that you're not so much wasting it, because we're probably going to eat it anyway, no matter how it goes. I've done some bad things, and I've still kind of ate it, to a degree. But then you get to a certain point, and you're going to have to say, nah, I got to chuck it. It's just too bad, can't eat it, too dry. Grass-fed in New Zealand is also a different flavour profile. I'm guessing it's because of the grass that we have here. Maybe more natural, I'm not too sure. But grass-fed's always good, always better for you. So, good to try that. The fat actually behaves differently in a smoker. So it renders down a lot slower because, like in an oven or any other kind of cooking method, we'll go with an oven. With the oven, you got the heat from the top and the heat from the bottom, and you got the meat in the pan right there in the middle. So there's actually quite a bit of heat, and the fat doesn't render down. You could have it at a low temp, but it's still not going to properly render down like it would on a smoker. So when you do it on a smoker, It's a lot lower, it's a lot more indirect heat, especially on an offset smoker. So you have your firebox at one end, and you have your meat all the way at the other end, and the smoke just travels over the meat, gives it a bit of flavour, and goes up the chimney. So the heat is a bit further away, and so that allows the fat to melt, render down, and really flavour the meat. Now there's the old saying, if you pay more, you get more. Now, necessarily that is true. Like you could pay $10 and get 5 kgs of meat, but then you could spend $15, but still only get 5 kgs of meat. You think you're getting more because of the weight, but really the quality's not that great, and you end up not liking the meat and chucking it, which is what I've had to, yeah. I think on some times where I've either mucked it up completely, it's mostly been my fault, but there's been times where I've gotten a bit of meat and I've had to just skip it. I've had to get rid of it because the actual quality of the meat was not good. So I paid less, but I actually got less because I still cooked it, still took my time to cook the bloody thing, and ended up having to hiff it. Because it wasn't good. It did not taste great at all. Couldn't stomach it. And I know it's kind of hard to tell when you get a bit of meat. Like when you get brisket, it's all shrink wrapped and stuff. So it's kind of hard to tell what's on the inside. And that's why it's better to go to local butchers or getting it sourced locally. Then you know the quality's going to be just a bit better because they care a bit more and it's fresher. And remember, when you're smoking, smoke should support, not overpower the meat. So everyone thinks that you got to bump a lot of smoke in there. That's the main star of the show. But like I've said before, it's a supporting role that smoke has. It's more an ingredient rather than like a weapon. That, oh yeah, if I smoke this, it's going to be bloody good. Not exactly. Sometimes it happens that way. But nah, don't think of it like it must taste as smoky as possible. Think of it like, research it a bit more, find out what wood's going to go better with what meat. Like I've said before, there's some wood out there that gives a really strong taste, and with white meat especially, like pork and chicken, it's just going to kill it. So, you have a look around. You could even ask the farmer, the person you get it from, hey, this meat that I'm getting from you, do you do much cooking with it? What's the best way to cook it? He may not say low and slow. He may say hot and fast, whatever. But they're the ones that's growing these animals. They know how to cook it and how to treat it properly. At least a little bit. If not, they've got a butcher and they obviously know exactly how to do it. But low and slow, once again, forces you to be patient, to not rush things. Always checking temps, checking your vents, being present around the smoker, and being present in the moment of cooking. Paddock to plate isn't convenient, and that's the point. It's a very similar thing. They don't rush things, and we don't rush things. Where fire meets flavour, that's what it's all about. Plus, it also gives a good connection between us and local farmers. And they'll figure out that a lot more of us that like to cook low and slow will be more interested in other cuts of meat. And that means that they will direct their products more towards us. They'll make briskets a bit bigger. They might do ribs in a certain cut because they know that low and slow smokers like ourselves are going to go out there and find the best stuff. They help us with good meat, and we help them by buying it. I think one cook that actually really stands out was the first time that I got some meat from Drury Meats. I don't think it was brisket. I think it was pork butt. Yeah, it was pork butt. I'd done it before. I think I'd gotten one from somewhere else, and I think Gilmore's or Costco or something. But the difference between the two was night and day. yeah, I'd gotten better. I'd figured out how to do it properly. But where the meat came from mattered to me and how I cooked it. Sometimes you get those really peaceful moments when you're doing it, when you've got the temp going right, you've got the fire managed perfectly, you're just sitting down there, you're smelling the smoke, and it all just, the whole world just kind of slows down a bit. It's just you by yourself. And that's what I really love about it. And then once it's all over, sharing it with others, that is the biggest thing that I love. I love to spend a lot of time perfecting the craft, making sure that I've done the hard yards, that I've done the work, that I've made sure that this is going to be really good. And then when I share it with other people and they love it, it's that connection. That connection is the reward for me. I will spend 24 hours cooking something for the family, for somebody just in general. If somebody asks me to smoke up a brisket for them or do some meat for them, the reward is knowing that I've done it well and that they enjoyed it. And knowing that other people enjoyed it. They gave it to their friends, they gave it to their family. And they're like, mate, that was freaking awesome. I love that. Can you do me another one? I've had that once. I smoked up a brisket for a friend of my wife's. It was just for like a party. And I think it was like, a couple months later or something. She asked me again. She's like, oh, that was really good, but some people didn't get to try it because it was all gone. Can you do me another one for this other party I'm having? I was like, yes, of course. You buy the meat. I'll do the rest of it. Don't worry. So, in short, paddock to plate, a lot of benefits. The quality, the freshness, technically reduces your carbon footprint a bit. You build a connection with the supplier as well. It's one of those things, like they get to know you, you get to know them. They might give you better cuts of meat next time. Ask questions. What kind of cut of meat is better? Is there something else that I could use to substitute for brisket? Because brisket is, it's a bit pricey. You could try chuck, a whole chuck. You could do, I've seen people do like whole sirloin steaks, like not individual cut steaks, but a whole sirloin. I'm still figuring it out as well. I want to try other places. I've tried Taylor Road meats. They're really good. And that's what you'll find from competition pitmasters to backyard smokers like ourselves. We're always going to be learning. There's always going to be tips and tricks and all kinds of things to learn. Sometimes I think, yeah, I've got this locked down, I know what I'm doing. But then I come across something and I have no idea. So even I still have to learn about how to cook something perfectly or close to it. But that's not what it's about. Remember, that's not what Low and Slow is about. It's not about perfection. As much as that is good, it's about learning as you go. And the perfection will come later. So essentially, that's what paddock to plate is. Slowing things down, getting locally sourced food, knowing where your food comes from. When you know the story behind the meat, you cook it differently, with a bit more care and respect. Maybe one day I'll go and interview a farmer, talk to somebody that actually does this for a living directly from the source. Because then that's good for you, it's good for me to know how the animals are treated, how they're processed, and what they're being fed. Gives you a lot more information, which would make people in general a lot more inclined to purchase from local farms. Next episode's going to be a bit different. I had Barbecue Boy reach out to me and invited me to head along to the Kiwi Hot Rod Festival, where they also have a barbecue section, and this year marks the 10-year anniversary of the competition barbecue that they hold. And I thought this would be a great opportunity to take the mic from the backyard right to the heart of this community. Had a few chats with the people as well as the competitors, sampled some choice food, and just soaked it all in. I'll bring those conversations and a bit of that festival atmosphere into the next episode, coming out on February 2nd. Catch ya!